Hey, it's Dougie Wood, and in this video, I'm going to be answering the question of what does SharePoint do? So, to make it simple, I break SharePoint out into three main categories. The first being documentation, and this is probably the most known purpose for SharePoint. The ability to upload documents, create brand new documents, share them, and collaborate with them with your colleagues. The next is navigation. Now, I often refer to this as being a single source of truth, making it easy for people to find things using different types of navigational elements inside of SharePoint. And finally, communication. And this comes down to a whole host of different features, but essentially it's about giving information to people and communicating a message to the entire organization. So let's talk first about documentation. As I said before, it's probably what most people know SharePoint for, and those other two categories are lesser known. So let's look at a little bit of an example of how SharePoint can provide you document management. So starting off, what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you a set of example documents. Now, this is just a test site I set up, which is simulating maybe like an IT help desk in a small, medium-sized kind of business. Um, and essentially, what you would have within here is obviously the ability to do things like submit sport tickets and things like that. But often, IT help desks would also have the equivalent of a knowledge base where they're storing information, how-to guides, and general sort of snippets of information. Now, sometimes this type of information, like internal knowledge bases, are just for the IT team. But actually, with the announcement of Microsoft Copilot and allowing people to use Copilot to find their own information, I quite often advocate things like knowledge bases should be open to all employees. So it's much easier for people to use something like Copilot to find answers to things like how to create a SharePoint folder, how to reset a password, things like that. And Copilot will be able to find information stored within these documents in order to answer their own questions. So, from a document management perspective, as I said before, we can create brand new documents, folders, we can upload documents and folders and things like that. But also, SharePoint goes way further than this with the features that it offers the ability to sync documents offline, so you can access them through File Explorer, or even if you're out and about on the move and you don't have internet connection, you can still connect and work on these documents. You can also share documents, so you can share them internally, but you can also enable them to be shared externally as well, which is a fantastic way to replace third-party products, things like Dropbox, and things like that, where people are sharing them externally. We can choose whether we want people to be able to edit these documents or just review them. So, the difference between sharing them so they can collaborate on them, or are they just consuming the information inside of here as well? But SharePoint goes further than just having a pile of documents. We can also use these as a document management system. So we can add our own columns into this SharePoint document library in order to do things like filtering or sorting. Now, by clicking Add Column, you'll see there's a whole range of different columns we can add to this library. So we've got things like standard bit of text, so just a single line of text. We've got choices, so we can use like multiple taggings to use as like filters. We've got date and time. You can tag people against them, say this is the document owner or approver, for example. There's things like yes, no to say, is this a policy document, yes or no? And again, you could filter by policy equals yes to find all the policy documents, things like that. But just as a quick example, I'm just going to click on the choice field, click on next, and then I'm going to create actually a topic column, which we can tag our content with. And this could be a whole range of things. So it might be, say, SharePoint related knowledge articles. It might be, say, password related. It could be VPN related, whatever it is. Then when we click on save, you'll notice that column appears and we can either individually tag documents, or what I like to do is click on this editing grid view, which means then we can go in and we can select documents to tag them. And it's almost like in a spreadsheet mode. So if I just look for some of the ones which are, say, SharePoint related, this one's SharePoint related, this one's actually password related. Let's find a couple more. VPN related, SharePoint related. And again, this one's SharePoint related. Then once I've done that, I click on Exit Grid View, and that's then tagged my document. The tags will appear, and then I could use this to either sort, so I could sort them and see them by the sort of topic type. Obviously, blank ones are just going to show at the top. Or I could filter. So I could filter by where it equals SharePoint, click on apply, and then there we go. We found all of our documents within here. I should also say the document management features go way beyond this. As I say, we can do things like version control. You can build in automated workflows if you wanted to build things like certain rules or approval processes or automated review reminders. All of this is just natively built into SharePoint document management. So going back to those categories of why or what does SharePoint do, the second is navigation. So as I was saying earlier, the navigational elements of SharePoint are there to make it super easy for people to find things, whether they're using navigation bars, the search box across the top. Essentially, what we're trying to do is make it as easy as possible for people to find things. So just taking a little look at this kind of mock-up of a SharePoint site, the navigation features essentially start right at the very top. We have a search box up here, which is where we can see a box that says search this site. Now, if this was a hub site in SharePoint, which is essentially like the home page of an intranet, that will search all the other SharePoint sites within inside this intranet. Because we've not enabled this as a hub site, it just says search this site. And in fact, actually, if I went back into that document library we were looking at before, you would notice that that search box says search this library, which means it's only going to be finding content within inside of that particular document library. But the search feature is fantastic. It will find documents not just based on their title, but also based on the content within those documents as well. The next kind of navigational features we have is what we call the site navigation bar. And this can be a series of drop downs, which actually some people refer to as a mega menu. You can have up to 3 levels. So, for example, here we've got offices, and the second layer down, we've got US and global. And then the third layer down, we've got the actual links, which, for example, we've got like London, Tokyo, things like that as those links. And typically, they could link off to other SharePoint sites or documents in SharePoint, but you could link to anything you want. As long as it's got a hyperlink, a URL, you can link to anything you want. So if it's a third-party website or something elsewhere, another website, for example, you can use that link to navigate to it. Often people link to things like payroll systems or other kind of third-party HR systems, their own public websites. There's loads of things that people often link to from that top area over there. So further down the page, we then have the actual body, the content of a SharePoint page. And that, again, has a lot of navigational items in it. Now, we're using this series of web parts here to form like a bit of a grid. And we're using this so we've got some nice branded looking imagery, which feels like the organization. And essentially, we're using it as another point of navigation so we can navigate people to areas that we think are most likely what they're going to want to easily access. So things like support requests, training guides, manager toolkits, company benefits, things like that, which are essentially what a lot of people are going to the intranet to go and find quickly. We can use things like images to help them navigate to them. There's also more traditional style navigations on the page, things like useful links, sometimes referred to as quick links, but essentially, again, more kind of buttons which are taking you to common areas of an intranet, things like booking a holiday, submitting an expense request form, company policies, branded materials, and other HR elements. I just wanted to pause for a second to ask a quick favor. If you're enjoying this video, and you're not yet subscribed to my channel, please do so. It's a free way that you can say thank you to me, and I really appreciate it. There's loads more content on my channel, which is all about SharePoint and building out SharePoint intranets. If you do need any professional services, there is a link on the bio area of my YouTube channel where you can get in contact with me to get any help or support with SharePoint. But please do subscribe to my channel now. Then the third and final category of answering the question of what does SharePoint do is around communication. Now, a lot of people use this as a great way, a fantastic way to keep their organization up to date with the latest announcements, policy changes, and general communications which go out to the wider organization. Communications can be delivered in a number of different ways. Here's another example of a SharePoint intranet, and you can see straight away across the top of the kind of what we call the fold, almost like the top area that we can see on the screen before we've even scrolled. We've got this quite fast-moving news carousel, so it's giving us the latest information to our users that we can cycle through ourselves. Pardon the pun there, cycling to work scheme. But you can see news articles. These can either be created inside of SharePoint, or you can link to external news articles that will automatically draw through the thumbnail image, the title, bit of a description, things like that. And by click on it, it would even bounce you into that third-party news website if you wanted to as well. But I say most people create their own news articles. And for an intranet like this top area typically is news, which is for everybody, that everybody would be of interest to. Other ways that we can communicate messages or important dates and things like that with people would be like a countdown timer. So, for example, in this scenario, this organization build certain products and they have product launches, and they want all their staff to be aware of when they've got a product launch coming up, so they can all get sort of hyped up about it, aware of it, and know that there's going to be more information to follow about it. So that's just another way we can communicate some information. Further down, we have more news web parts, but this time we're breaking them out by, say, for example, departments or countries. And in fact, we can go one step further and we can use what we call audience targeting, which basically means that the news can be bespoke to the user that's viewing that SharePoint site. So it can be completely different if I was to load it up than if you were to load it up. And what I mean by that is, for example, under from your department, this might show, say, for example, if I was in the IT department, it would only show me news which was relevant to the IT department. If, for example, I'm in the leadership team, it'll show me the leadership related news articles. Or if it's from a country, say, for example, if you're working in an organization which is all over the world, say, for example, if I'm working in the London office, then this could be filtering down to news articles which are based for people in London or the UK, or if I was working in the US, it might be US related news. And essentially, what I'm trying to say is bespoking that experience to the user that's looking at it. And essentially, you can come up with whatever categories of news that you want to filter by, and then display them on the homepage easily for people to access. More different types of news. Again, you can have what they call My News, which is essentially almost like an AI kind of algorithm which learns how you use SharePoint, where you go in SharePoint, and then it will tailor the news based on your interests and the types of information that you're looking up in SharePoint. This is just another news web part, just to show you exactly how this kind of works. So if you have loads of news articles, you can then essentially display this, and as new news articles are added, they can then be pushed along, which eventually would drop off the screen, and it would go into this see all area. So you could then jump into that to have the ability to filter down sort of news articles and find news articles that maybe have fallen off the homepage. And the final things when it comes to kind of communications using news is we have this email news digest button. And essentially what that will do is allow you to select different articles. So just pick a few different ones here, click on next, and then it will then take us through to a kind of templated newsletter style thing, which we can specify a title. So it might be our winter newsletter. We can specify who we want to send it to, or distribution list, and a bit of text in there as well. And then we click on Send News Digest, and what that'll do is it'll send an automated email with those links, with your text to the people that you specify. Now, it is quite a basic template. It's not brandable, so to speak. It looks like it's coming from SharePoint rather than from your organization directly. However, it is really useful, and it's a fantastic way that if you're trying to get people to adopt a SharePoint intranet, but they're used to getting their communications from emails, it's actually putting it in their mailbox. It's showing them the sort of summary thumbnails of news articles, but when they click on them, it loads them up into SharePoint. So essentially, that's where they can then get their news going forward and no longer expecting to get it from their emails.